Hey everybody, welcome back to the Y Project. We're celebrating episode number 20 with Mr. Woolman.
Woo!
Thanks for
Morning,
joining us this
everybody.
morning.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's dive right in. Tell us about why you got into teaching art and what keeps you coming and why you like teaching at Mount Baker.
Yeah, what a great question, because I think now during the pandemic, it's a really good time to reflect on why we do the things we do. Um, I think when I first got into teaching, it was a way to figure out how I could stay in the arts and also be a learner myself, because being in the arts is always about that lifelong learning arc. And but then as I started becoming a teacher, I think it really it changed into, I just love being around young people and watching them discover their talents, helping them discover their talents in the arts. That feeds me as an artist, but also um, I think really helps out students, especially in their adolescence, that really need something to grasp onto as far as something positive, and trying to be a part of a positive part of their lives, and show them that they can be creative, that they can be do valuable things in life. And I think that's part of the wisdom after only teaching. A lot of people have been teaching a lot longer than me, but nearly 20 years now is sort of what keeps me coming back. Sort of that bigger idea, not that it's just fun or it's a challenge. Those things are still there for sure, but it's more that bigger why is, I just think it's amazing, people, a positive part of people's lives, and show them the creative side of themselves and help facilitate that. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it totally does. Paul and I both have gotten into like watercoloring lately, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been like weirdly relaxing. I was terrible at art. I have so many stories I could share that I won't. But lately it's just been like the more I've had time to just be creative, the
Mm-hmm.
more I felt creative, and you're right, it like brings that side out of you, and it's really cool to discover that.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it too, teaching art, that I learned, is it's really just showing, or just having that confidence, like you were just saying. Like, it's okay to fail. It's okay. It's like the biggest, thing in teaching, right? Like convincing kids it's okay to fail, which actually helps you build that confidence, because once you start to prevail over that failure, then you can see that you can actually do something. And it's not going to work out every time, but that could be applied to lots of different things in life too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what is it about Baker that kind of has drawn you to stay there, and what do you love about it?
I think it's the community. There's such a good sense of connection there. I mean, honestly, you probably hear every teacher say that, but that's what's special about Baker. Um, I think that the type of student we have at Baker, that has been facilitated through their families and through the elementary and junior high, is one that's very respectful, and one that's very, they seem happy to be there for the most part. I mean, I know we all have hard days and there's different cases, but they're appreciative, I think. I taught somewhere else where it was like everybody was sort of like, we were, the word would be, I don't know, they're sort of confrontational about education, and they were sort of like, um, I don't know, they didn't have the quite amount of respect that Baker students have, and that really goes a long way, because you do so much more when that respect and that willingness to learn is there. You don't have to break down a lot of those barriers. Kids are kind of come in ready to go, with their mindset often at Baker, I think. And yeah, I wouldn't want to test the waters in another school, because I like what we've got going on at Baker, and it really fits my teaching style. So I think it's a great match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, every other teacher has said it's a community that they
Mm-hmm.
love, but I also think it's just the fact that every teacher has recognized that says a lot and speaks volumes about how awesome Mount Baker really
Yeah,
is.
and I think it shows. I mean, teaching is a relationship, and you need to have both sides being able to work together. And I think that it works great for the type of teacher we have at Baker, because we're all very personal. And I think that the students are very personal, and they're willing to take risks for you if you show that you have faith in them and confidence that they can do it. So It's a great relationship, and I wouldn't want to, change that.
And taking risks is so important while you're
Hmm.
learning, like in life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, do you have some sort of encouragement or challenge for us to partake in during this time?
I think, I try to do it myself is try to be creative every day. And it could be something small, it could be, turn off the TV and just making something, drawing something. I think creating, so often we consume so much right now, right? And it's kind of ironic, right? We sometimes arts gets the back seat, but most of what people are consuming right now is somehow creative, right? It's art, it's video games, it's movies, it's all these things that we're leaning on to pass time, it seems often. So what about being a part of actually creating some of that into the world, as far as, it could be simple drawing, painting. Um, you know, I was at the beach the other day and just started stacking rocks. I mean, it could be something simple like that, right? But I think just keeping that creative side of your brain engaged.
Mm-hmm.
That can atrophy just like every other muscle. And sitting around, I'm starting to get weaker, starting to get less motivated to go exercise. I think your brain's the same way, right? And especially that creative side where if you sit around and just don't do anything and just consume mass media all day long, it can really atrophy your thinking process.
Yeah. I like how you tied that to a muscle because that's kind of like what we've talked about with Character Strong too. Like your character is a muscle, and so is art and creativity, and
Mhm.
everything you do is kind of like a muscle. You have to keep practicing to build that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. Well, thanks for joining us this
Yeah.
morning,
You're welcome.
and thanks for being at Mount Baker. I'm really glad I get to work with you, and I hope someday that we can co-teach so that I can actually take an art class from you.
That would be fun. That'd be really fun. I'd look forward to that.
Yeah. Sweet.
All
Well,
right.
I hope you have a really great rest of your day.
You too.
All right.
Bye.